How do WR archetypes affect fantasy football strategy? Have you ever wondered how different wide receiver archetypes can shape your fantasy football strategy? Understanding these archetypes can be a game changer when it comes to player analysis and projections. Let's break it down. Wide receiver archetypes categorize players based on their roles in an offense. The main types include outside receivers and slot receivers. Outside receivers, often referred to as X and Z receivers, line up on the boundary. The X receiver is typically a larger physical player who excels at contested catches. However, they might not always rack up fantasy points since they can be tasked with blocking or running routes that do not lead to targets. On the other hand, the Z receiver is usually a speedster who can stretch the field and score touchdowns, but their performance can be inconsistent. Slot receivers, in contrast, line up inside and often run shorter routes. They usually see a higher target volume because they operate in quick passing schemes. This positioning allows them to avoid top cornerbacks, leading to more consistent receptions and yards. This is especially beneficial in points per reception formats, where accumulating catches is key. When it comes to target volume, slot receivers generally receive more opportunities. This makes them valuable for steady fantasy points each week. Outside receivers, particularly X receivers, may have fewer targets but can offer higher touchdown potential, which is essential in standard leagues. Coaching strategies also play a role in how these archetypes perform. Some outside receivers may have roles that focus more on team needs than fantasy output. They might be used to clear space or block rather than catch passes, which can limit their fantasy value. Knowing a player's archetype can guide your draft decisions. For example, if you are in a points per reception league, you might prioritize slot receivers due to their higher target share. Conversely, if you are in a standard league, big outside receivers could be more appealing because of their touchdown upside. In Dynasty or rookie drafts, understanding a wide receiver's archetype can help you predict their development and fit within an offense. A slot receiver in a pass-heavy system may be undervalued if their team is focused on the run, presenting a potential opportunity for savvy managers. When building your fantasy roster, consider prioritizing slot receivers for consistent weekly production while also targeting outside receivers for their high-ceiling performances. Understanding the limitations of certain archetypes helps prevent overvaluing players who may not contribute significantly to fantasy scoring. In summary, wide receiver archetypes influence fantasy football strategy by shaping player evaluation, draft prioritization, and roster construction. By recognizing expected usage patterns and scoring profiles tied to their roles, you can make more informed decisions that enhance your fantasy football experience.